Jumping back now to the markets, as we mentioned a moment ago, stocks are well off the worst levels of the day, shaking off at least temporarily those concerns about rising tensions between Ukraine and Russia. So how should investors position themselves given the geopolitical risks? Joining to discuss that and more is Peter Andersen, the founder and CIO at Andersen Capital Management, and Chad Morganlander, the senior portfolio manager at Washington Crossing Advisors. Peter, how do you factor in to your portfolio management? And you run a very concentrated portfolio. How do you factor in these geopolitical tensions, if at all?
What is a portfolio manager to do these days? And in my opinion, these things are transient. I know I don't want to trivialize them, but in terms of how one would pick stocks, there's a number of possibilities. One possibility, which is what I pursue, is to almost ignore this as, dare I say, noise, but still focus on the stocks that we think will do well. And remember, we're in Trump 2.0 now. A lot of investors are trying to figure out if this is going to be a replay of Trump 1. And if that's the case, maybe we just redo our stock picking. But I don't think that's a good guarantee. I'm thinking that Trump 2.0 will be very, very different from the first regime, and that we need to focus more on fundamental stock picking rather than saying what are Trump's favorite policies and how can we play into that. That is far more risky, in my opinion, than doing pure stock selection.
So I hear you suggesting that while the Ukraine situation is something you can sort of set aside as, quote, noise, I think that was your word, the Trump 2.0 and the potential changes to taxation and regulation and immigration and all of those shuns could be something that you're going to have to and are indeed now taking into account in your stock evaluation.
Well, I'm actually saying almost the opposite, that so many of these...
Well, then you confuse me, Peter.
Okay, so many of these things are speculative in terms of where we think Trump is going to go, right? So if we were to pick stocks based on what we think he's going to do, what his policies might be, I think you could end up in several dead ends simply because he's so unpredictable in terms of what his policies will be. Certainly, we're thinking that tariffs will be a repeat. But in terms of other steps he's taking, I'm not certain that we can be at all confident that when he's moving forward, he will replay the steps that he did. Thus, when you're looking at stocks, I think you go back to your own playbook and virtually almost ignore what we think he's going to do in this term.
All right. Thanks for the clarification. Peter, back to you. And among your sort of both Trump and geopolitically agnostic picks are a number of cybersecurity stocks.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's possible that cybersecurity will endure almost any presidential appointment in the sense that the fundamentals of that industry are so strong, especially when there's, say, even international conflict now. It just puts more focus on the need to protect all our cyber communications, networks, etc. So as time evolves, we believe that this need is going to increase. And Tyler, the only thing I can see that would disrupt this, perhaps, is quantum computing, which is a whole other industry that we haven't even really touched upon. It's in its infancy. But once quantum computing is established, then we will have to go to a next level of cyber protection. But as it stands now, and we're probably about, I'd say 10 Nobel Prizes away, at least, from developing quantum computing, cybersecurity will really be endurable.
And that's because quantum breaks cybersecurity?
It has yes, it breaks all our cyber cryptology within a second. And that's the problem, is that if this does come into existence, all our cybersecurity will have to be revamped because it will break all those crypto codes within a very, very short time.
But you got to dance
rest assured, we've got some time.
Well, 10 Nobel Prizes. It reminds me of the old line, you got to dance while the music's playing. So you're in the cyber stocks until quantum destroys them.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Peter Andersen, Chad Morganlander, we thank you.